Voltron Network.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the DC versus Marvel podcast, where we talk about the latest DC and Marvel movie news. My name is Uz, and I'm your regular DC fanboy. And once again, joined in the red corner by my boy Ed's, representing Marvel Comics. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Feeling good.
Yeah.
Got my tea. I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what that is. Simple life, isn't it? Just like tea equals happiness, man. That is the thing.
Shit.
That is the thing. You can't take tea away from British people, man.
Nah, man. No.
Tea is the answer to 90% of problems. On
Americans,
on
you
planet,
missed out, man. You tipped all that tea in Boston into the river, man. You missed out. You're shooting yourself in the foot with that one. Come on. What are you doing?
In America, I don't know whether it's a parody account or something like that, but have you seen this? There's this thing that went viral of this lady. She's basically like got TikTok videos, and she's called American Mum in England, and she's like cooking tea and all this kind of stuff, right? And it's got to be a parody account because in America they don't have kettles, right? So they don't have the electricity, the current to run a kettle. So they don't actually have kettles in America, right? So basically, like, so they've got like coffee broilers and all that stuff. But basically, when she's like making this tea, she's making it in a microwave and stuff like that, because obviously that's the way, they can boil it on a stove, but obviously they don't have a kettle to like do it, which is quite hilarious. So it's a very different thing.
American listeners, is that the case? Like, that just seems bizarre. Like, it's one of the standard things you have in your kitchen. Let me know, man. That sounds
well, what we have, but not what they have. No kettles, man. No kettles. Yeah. So yeah, man, a lot of stuff to talk about there today.
What we talking?
We got the Batman. We've got some pictures from Secret Invasion. We've got Peacemaker. We've got Boba Fett, Superman and Lois, Moon Knight, and some projects there from two kind of fan favorite actors there as well, man. So yeah, quite a lot to talk about. Before we do that, have you been up to anything in terms of comic book stuff there over the last few days or so?
Besides, the stuff we're going to talk about, we'll be watching. Not really. I've been in a weird headspace all week where I just wanted to watch and listen to adventure films or audiobooks. And what I'm talking about, I'm talking like Indiana Jones type stuff. I've been playing Uncharted. I've been watching people play Tomb Raider, new ones. I've been watching indie. I've been watching the old Tomb Raider films, Jolie ones. I'm gonna watch The Mummy later. Like, I don't know why. I'm just in this headspace, bro. That's all I want. People just discovering
going
shit.
on an adventure.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Wow.
I'm just in that
headspace. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, man. Yeah, have you ever heard of this YouTube channel called Kings and Generals?
No.
So Kings and Generals is basically like this, on this YouTube channel, what they do is they take all these historic events and they kind of like, they talk about it, but they talk about it in like picture form there as well. So they'll say like, okay, so they had Genghis Khan, and Genghis Khan was fighting this other army. And then they show his army, like, with like, kind of like, say, red horses, like on one side, and they'll show these other ones there on the other side, and they say he brought his horses around here, and then they came in.
The strategy of it all.
You can see the strategy and stuff, right? So they released this.
Then there used to be a TV show that used to do that. They used to reenact wars, and it was like this computer thing. I used to love watching that. I don't know, what was that?
That was wicked, because you could actually go on there and you could choose a side, and it was like, are you gonna do the right tactics or whatever? And it's like whether you win the battle or lose the battle or whatever. But yeah, basically they just released this new one. It's called Wizards and something. I can't remember the other part of it. But basically what they're now doing is they're taking lore from like from like different kind of comic books and books and all that kind of stuff, and they're doing the same thing. So they did some Lord of the Rings stuff, and they've just done now the was Game of Thrones ones. So they've basically got like, and this guy, he brought his army here and he brought it down, and these other guys came here,
and just reenacting it.
It's awesome, man. So I've been binge watching all of those there, and finally took the kids to see Spider-Man Far From Home on on Saturday.
Finally. So
Um,
how much did they actually watch, or did you just have to, or did you just choose to explain it all?
no, they watched the whole thing. They watched the whole
I
thing.
mean, the
But
other
basically,
films, the previous Spideys.
so they watched all the other Spider-Man
Oh,
films.
okay.
Every single one, basically. So they watched all the Spider-Man films, so they knew exactly what was going on, and also the recap on YouTube, which is like, you know, everything you need to see before Far From Home, basically.
So what did they
So
think? What did they think?
yeah, they loved it. They loved it, man. It was like, I think it was a bit long for them. I would say, but yeah, they really enjoyed it. My daughter was asking quite a few questions and stuff there afterwards, like, because the thing is, they haven't seen Venom, right? So that dude at the end, they're like, who is this guy? Is that Venom? Because they think Topher Grace is Venom, right?
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
So they're like, how is that guy? Is that guy? He looks a lot older. I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is a different guy. So now they got to watch Venom and stuff. We didn't stay until Doctor Strange, because then they wouldn't know what the hell was going on there. It would have just gone like crazy. And the thing is, like, my son was talking about about it on the way home, and he's like, oh yeah, and Mr. Miracle did this, and I was like, Mr. Miracle, who are you talking about? He goes, yeah, when Mr. Miracle, and he opened this thing, and like, this other guy came out, and like, I was like, I don't know who you're talking about, mate, but basically Doctor Strange, according to him, is Mr. Miracle, basically, right? So I don't know where he got Mr. Miracle from, but he knows Mr. Miracle obviously from DC, who looks completely different. But I don't know why he thought that was Mr. Miracle, but yeah, I think he was a little bit confused. It's quite funny because I knew after about 1.5 hours, he wanted to go to the bathroom, right? And I said to him, mate, do you want to go bathroom? Do you want to go? No, I'm fine. Do you want to go bathroom? You want to go bathroom? Then, then when the scaffold fight starts, he's like, I really need to go, So I was like, come on, mate, let's run, because you're going to miss this whole thing there otherwise. So yeah, ran there, went bathroom, came back, and obviously watched it and stuff. So yeah, they really liked it. They kind of understood what was going on and everything there as well. But they were like, they were under the impression that Toby Maguire died, right? So they were like, oh yeah, he's gonna die because you can't survive that, thing. I said, no. He said that, he's been stabbed before, so he's kind of he's kind of okay.
So happy they didn't kill him. Even though we probably will, we'll never see him again. I don't think we should. I think that's the perfect send-off for Toby. Caulfield, by the way, he does need to do something else somewhere, but Toby, that's the perfect send-off for him.
Yeah, Toby, exactly. Toby can go now. He can go and scream at paparazzi.
Do you see the video? There's a video of a paparazzi getting hit by a car that was trying to take a picture of him, and you just see him walking off with an evil grin, just like as he looks at paparazzi in the road. He is messed up.
I was listening to this podcast about Toby Maguire and how bad Toby Maguire was on the Spider-Man set, right? And basically the special effects guys hated him so much that they started putting little things in the film to kind of like be like, hints to how horrendous he is. So in Spider-Man 3, basically he had this back injury, right? So basically he came back and he's being a complete arse to everybody on set, and he didn't want to be there, and he's like, my back's injured, blah blah, right? And basically he was just being complete scum to pretty much everybody. So on one of the things there, where they've got like the Daily Bugle, there's like if you zoom up to one of the articles, it says, do back injuries cause brain damage? That's one of the that's one of the headlines on there. So one of the special effects guys wrote that on there because it's like, because Tobey Maguire's been such an ass basically to everybody. This is brilliant, man, just absolutely brilliant. So yeah, we saw that they absolutely loved it, man. So yeah, it's great fun. So.
And I don't know if we're gonna actually pick this up in the video version of our podcast. So I usually have to crop it down so you get to actually see us rather than us.
Mhm.
But I can see in the background there's Batman all complete. Finally, the pants, all the patches are on.
He is complete. He just needs his cape now. That is the thing, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I
looks
finally
cool, though.
found like yeah, it looks good. It looks good now, basically. So yeah, just needs the cape, and then that's it. I'm thinking now, depending on I'm trying to find like you know, some companies that are making like all the cowls for the new film. Because what I want is, I've got a new shelf that is over on this side, and I want to have Batman, Catwoman, and Riddler. I want to have all three of them kind of just like lined up, basically, like together. So that'll be my new setup on the other side there, basically.
What about Keaton Batman, and then Affleck Batman, and all the, I mean, suits, not even just the helmets. Like you've got one, you got the Nolan one there, but you need the
Nolan.
Need the other three.
If I was a multimillionaire, then yeah, probably, you know what I mean. But yeah, it's just like you know, I've got the you know, the Batfleck, you know, the cowl and stuff behind me, and all the Arkham ones. But yeah, I don't know. You know, money no object. It could be everything there. You know what I mean? I was looking actually, like, you know, the armored Batman suit, and initially there were like people making it, and they were like, you know, 3,500, and then, you know, some of them dropped to like 1,500. And I saw one the other day, and it was like 700 quid, and I was like, oh wow, do I? And I thought, nah.
BVS like, armored. What's it made out of then?
It's, well, the thing is, what they do is they use foam, and then they pour resin over it, so it becomes solid. This is different. This is basically like rubber and leather, basically, right? So it's a very different way of making it. So that's a better way of casting it. But if you want it to actually look like armor, it's got to be solid. So it's, you know, you knock on it, it's got. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I win the lottery, I'll get that at some point there as well, and then just have a haul of. Like back in the day, like I used to say to one of my mates, I wanted like a hall of warriors, like in Transformers, where it's like literally just like you walk down into it. Yeah, like that would just be next so level, cool, man. That would be ultimate. But yeah, one day maybe, man. So let's get on to the topics, right? And yeah, nice segue into Batman there. Anyway, guys, I know we had about 7 or 8 messages into our inbox saying, have you watched the you know, the 4-minute clip that has been released, right? And the answer to that is no. And I have no intention of watching it whatsoever.
I've seen enough. I want to see the film now. I want every moment to just be as fresh as it can be. So I'm just avoiding all of these little TV teasers and these 4-minute clips. I don't want to see no more. I want everything to be as fresh as it can be. I learned my lesson back in '99 when I saw too much of The Matrix leading up to it, and I knew the whole film when I watched it. And it was nothing. Man. Everything that blew everybody else's mind was like, yeah, I saw that in the making of. Like, I saw the bullet time. I saw terrible. All of that. Yeah, ruined it.
Yeah, that's not great, man. Yeah, that's not great. No, I've read the comments underneath. Some people have been putting comments underneath the video on YouTube and stuff like that. So I just read that, did not watch the video there at all. But yeah, just, you know, overwhelmingly people saying this is epic. But, you know, you never know until you actually see it, obviously, in context with the rest of the film.
One thing we know which is epic though is that runtime. Basically 5 minutes short of 3 hours. And I heard that they tested out a 4-hour cut. It's a whole other hour of footage. How long until the campaigns begin that we want the Reach cut? to get that full extra hour. Oh, wow.
Well, potentially, are we going to get that? Because we know that it's going to be 48 days or whatever they said until it's going to come on HBO Max. So then the HBO Max, are they going to put the longer version on there with all the other bits and, you know, all that kind of stuff, or is it going to be coming on the Blu-ray? I don't know, you know what I mean? But I was in London 3 times last week, you know, working different places, and I saw multiple posters on buses, on you know, the sides of roads, on billboards, you know, just like they're really going for it, for the, you know, for that kind of thing, man.
It makes sense to ups, to go into another gear when it comes to promoting shit out here. Because our whole COVID stuff's out the window now. Government don't care. If you die, you die.
Oh yeah.
Ivan Drago rules. It's like they don't care no more. So it's like, hey, fill in them cinemas, man. Might as well. They don't have to worry about everything getting locked down again.
You don't need a pass or anything to
Nope.
go to any of these places or anything like that. Yeah, that is the thing, man. Some people have been saying that basically Pattinson can in effect elevate himself to another level of geekdom, right? Because he's basically got all the Twilight fans behind him.
Yeah.
He's got the Harry Potter fans, right? And now he's potentially got all the DC fans as well, right? So he's basically gonna he's like the master of geeks, basically.
Yeah, that's the Holy Trinity right there. Even though he could be losing some of the Twilight ones, because I know he has turned around and shit on those movies for not being particularly good. But I'm not even gonna lie, I did watch all of those and read the books. I don't know why. I just fell into the groove of those for some reason.
Wow.
But, okay. I admit, I ain't ashamed.
I don't know what to say about that, but yeah, 2 hours 55, man. I have no problem whatsoever. I basically I've kind of lived through levels of suffering that are so bad that I think that 2 hours 55 is actually not that horrendous. Yeah. I actually went and watched like a quad film in a row of what's it called, X-Men. Right, when Apocalypse came, so literally every one of those, and then watched was it with Apocalypse? Yeah, 3 of them with Apocalypse, right? So I literally watched through 7.5 hours of X-Men, which was because I was like, come on, they got to do something with Apocalypse. But yeah, it was horrendous. But 2 hours 55 is 2 hours 55 is fine. It takes you that long to read through a comic book anyway. So if it's going to be, takes that long, well, not a comic book, a graphic novel, I guess. A comic book should take about 20 minutes. But
how long was the Snyder Cut again? Was it like 4 hours?
4 hours, yeah.
So there's a cut of the Batman, which is with just one main character, which is as long as the whole of the Snyder Cut. That just blows my mind. One day they do put it out one day, because I just want to see what that is.
That's the thing. And the thing is the stuff that is coming out about it is quite hilarious, man, because Rob Pattinson has basically said, yeah, definitely Batman has a no-kill rule in this, but the question is this no kill rule because he's beaten people to a pulp and they've had enough punishment, or is it that basically he's trying to stop himself because he knows that he will kill somebody if he keeps beating them, basically, right? So this guy is gonna be totally unhinged, man. Like literally, he's gonna be
there's a lot of leeway in the no kill rule, man. It doesn't mean you can't put them in wheelchairs. It doesn't mean they can't be comatose or a vegetable in hospital. They're still alive. So it's still within his rules. So
yeah.
I'm good with it.
It's like that. It's like that thing when they're basically going and fighting against the heretic and stuff like that. When basically Batman goes nuts because Damian gets killed by the heretic. So basically goes to go and find them, right? And there's all these assassins and stuff there. And Red Hood's like, he takes Red Hood with him, and Red Hood's got his guns. He's like, yeah, we'll just kill them all because they obviously they brought Damian here and stuff. Batman's like, no killing, right? Like that. We only sever their spinal cords, right? And it's like Red Hood's like, what? You're gonna paralyze all these dudes, yeah? So literally they go and paralyze literally all these assassins, right? They're just paralyzed from the neck down.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? But they're not dead. But you might as well want to be dead. You know what I mean? Because
I bet at least 10% commit suicide off of that. So that's mad.
How they gonna commit suicide? Can't do nothing.
Well, yeah, I guess it depends what part of the spine. That's true. If it's paraplegic.
That's true. That is true, man. So yeah, it's just that is the maddest storyline. So that is about 40 days away now, because it's the 4th. Yeah, about 40 days away. So yeah, not long, man. And there was meant to be Morbius in between that, wasn't there? But obviously Morbius is gone now, pretty much. So I don't even know what the only thing that is oh you know, there are two films that are coming out on February the 4th, and you basically got to make a choice as to which one you're going to watch, right? And one of them is like an ultra serious, obviously, like, you know, billionaire beating the shit out of criminals, solving a grisly crime, and the other one is the moon is a spaceship and it's
that weird.
Right. So it's like polar opposites, man. On the same, I was actually contemplating watching both of those on the same night just for the comedy, man.
I'm not gonna lie, man. It's Roland Emmerich.
Yeah.
Movies are terrible, but I'm infinitely entertained watching them. I just love the destruction that he puts on screen. Oh man, 2012 still enjoy it. Hell of it.
It looks ridiculous, but it's gonna be the funny and entertaining as well, as possible, man. So we also saw today going to Marvel, we saw some pictures of Secret Invasion, which I kind of forgot about, man. I totally forgot that this is coming out. I was thinking, I can't remember, is this a Disney Plus show or is this it's a film? This Disney Plus show, right? So Secret Invasion, I don't really know a great deal about. That is basically like the Skrulls infiltrating or something, is it?
I keep getting it confused with Secret Wars. One of them, can they still do it with the Skrulls? Because they've already established Skrulls are like nice guys in Captain Marvel. So it kind of, that was one of the things that annoyed me about that. It takes the fangs away from it, unless there's another sect of them that are completely different.
Yeah.
But I guess
the weird thing about the Skrulls is they seem to be like they seem to be a little bit dumb in the way that they do stuff. Like they get things wrong all the time. So I don't know if they went down that route and like all the shitty decisions that have been made by leaders in the world is a Skrull, basically, right? Literally every dumbass decision known to man, like, you know, they find that it's a Skrull and it's just like it's buggered up everything. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one because, like I said, I totally forgot about it. But one of the things I'll always say, like whenever I see any of the Marvel shows, at least the production is decent.
Yeah.
Like even when you see like, you know, the behind the scenes shots and stuff like that, they're better than some of the CWTC shows that you end up seeing. Like for some reason last week I was just like I wasn't feeling great because something happened at work and stuff, and I decided, you know what, I just want something stupid to laugh at, right? So I decided to watch Legends of Tomorrow, the newest episode, right? Oh my god, it literally looks like somebody's got an iPhone and just recorded their mates like walking around doing stuff. It is so bad. It's like, if I send you this, I've got to find you a clip of one of these.
I still remember that Supergirl clip you sent around. That just looked the most amateurish thing I've ever seen, man. It's like,
It's terrible. It's terrible. They've got this character who I don't even know who it is, but he's like, basically, he's like, imagine the guy's built like Colossus, but actually meant to be like, you know, instead of having metal arms and stuff, like normal arms. So what they've done is obviously no human. Yeah,
that's the suit guy. I seen pictures of him. I'm like, what is going on there?
no human could look that built. So they've basically got a dude whose arms are like this big, right? And it's clearly like a latex suit that he's got, and
he's got a little head, and a little neck, so it don't make no sense.
Mate, it looks so bad. It's horrendous, man. Honestly, if I was on that show, there's no way I could take it serious of like, you know, this is horrendous. But yeah,
I do feel sorry for all those actors, man. But yeah, Secret Wars is Secret Invasion. I mean, is the whole thing of the Skrull. So maybe it's a different group that infiltrate, you know, politics and other aspects of life. You know, Fury has to uncover, I guess. It'd be nice to see Maria Hill again. I always felt she should have got more in
and maybe exactly, and maybe kind of, you know, more backstory towards her, because she's kind of always like that, you know, the hanger-on type, but then in certain parts she was kind of like made it her own kind of thing, and you think, okay, this is quite a badass character that should have more of the limelight kind of thing there. But yeah, I don't even know when that is coming out, man. Because
next year apparently. It's not even this year.
Have you heard about the stuff that's going on around Miss Marvel at the moment? Because they're doing like extensive reshoots basically for Miss Marvel, and apparently the when they do those screenings and stuff like that, it's not coming off very well basically. So the thing is, I did a little test on this, right? And I showed my daughter the little teaser trailer, and I said, what do you think? What do you think about this show? And she's like, it's okay. But she didn't think it was anything particularly great. And this is the thing, that's the target audience, right?
Yeah.
It's like no kind of I don't know, like Pakistani Asian kids, like girls. I don't think many of them are going to be like, oh, I want to go and watch this show, or like, it's meant to be targeting certain audiences to say, oh, look, you're represented on screen now, kind of like they've done with Encanto and all these other kind of Disney films and stuff like that. But I don't know, I've just got a feeling nobody's going to watch it because
no one's talking about it. Hasn't really gotten much of a buzz. Yeah, it's a shame. Like, how popular? I guess it's something the listeners can let us know about. But how popular is the book? Like, is it still going? Because I haven't really checked in with it. So
I mean, apparently, well, it is still going, but it's basically been republished multiple times because they just keep rebooting because and it's difficult now because only collectors buy these comic books. It's like, not many people buy it to read it and stuff. So I don't know, man. That's meant to be coming out this year as well.
It's such a short-sighted way to view comic books because they just want that bump of when they reboot something and they get that new episode 1 that will get the collectors to buy, and it gets that small little bump, but you lose so many people with that consistency. You're thinking that you're giving them an opportunity to jump on, but it's the opposite. You're losing so many. It's just ridiculous. The dumb people that run it.
You could tell that the most when you actually buy a graphic novel and you see kind of halfway through the art style suddenly changes, and that basically it's like it's in the same book, but basically when they did the comic books, obviously, which make up the graphic novel, the trade paperback or whatever, they had basically like changed the artist or whatever halfway through and just kind of ruined it basically pretty much.
That is a pet peeve of mine nowadays as well. Is that there isn't the consistent artist that sticks with it, and a lot of the time it's not even the same guy doing the panels on the inside that does the covers. Like, I want to be able to look at a comic book on the shelf. If I like what I'm seeing with the art style on the cover, I want to know that that's what's going to be inside. But
that's my pet peeve basically. You look at the art on the cover and you're like, okay, this guy looks like this, or this character looks like this, and then you look inside and you're like, what the hell, man? Did they hand it over to their kids or something to finish the book on the inside? You know what I mean? So it's a weird one. So we'll keep up with the news with Miss Marvel, man. But I don't know. I don't hold up a great deal of hope for that show. I think it's a big miscalculation in what's going on there. I think mainly because whoever has done that doesn't watch Bollywood or Indian dramas or Pakistani dramas or whatever. And the reason being is when you see the people who are on those, both the women and the men, they are all like model looking caliber, right? And for some reason, it's the same like with China, right? They've got this aesthetic that they just want people on screen to look like models, basically, right? So if you don't have that in the show, then a lot of the people who are very kind of weird and fickle are just going to be like, I don't want to watch that. They're not even going to look at the content.
I did hear that the directors and the writers were, all Asian, all South Asian, so they were trying to get that authenticity there. But I guess at some point they just, communication went there.
it's a difficult one because you piss off half the people either way.
Yeah.
So you either get basically like somebody who's in there who's like, oh, I want to I want to live my life, I want to be independent and blah blah, and that's going to piss off half the people because it's going to be like, wait a second, you're saying that our culture is shit and basically you want to be part of this other culture. And then the other way at the same time, it's going to be like, with other people who are just thinking that way and thinking, okay, this, that it's never going to be far enough for them to be like, okay, it works out. You're going to piss off half the people either way. So massive miscalculation, I reckon. But let's see how that goes.
One thing you should at least do is make everyone handsome and pretty. You're going to lose everywhere else. Just make them look good. And that will keep.
That's the bloody problem, man. There's no way, like, you can do that in these. Literally, like you go anywhere from, I don't know, from the Middle East eastwards. You got to put people on screen that look like you'd never see them ever in real life, because if you don't, then then people look at it like they don't want to watch it or whatever, man. So
I'm very superficial in that way. I'm not gonna lie. I take the criticism. I don't want people on TV. I don't want people on TV to look like me or anyone I can see walking down the street. I want them to be ethereal, to be majestic.
Majestic, that you'd never see in real life, man. Exactly. So dude, I caught up with Peacemaker and managed to watch episode 4 now as well. What a show, man.
Crazy,
what a
right?
show. What a bloody show. Oh my goodness me. So I'm gonna say straight off, I don't really know a great deal about Peacemaker. He's like a deep dive, like he's like a deep dive into DC, man. You'll literally have to go crazy far into there to be like, I know a lot about Peacemaker. But man, this show is like hilarious and cringe, and action is decent, and it's just like kind of everything about it is like for me is kind of on point right at the moment. And the way it kind of
it's a good antidote for superhero TV right now, because there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it, and I love that.
Yeah,
it's for grown-ups. It's violent. It's funny. It's just unique. I love that.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because it's got like this dude who basically is in effect is John Cena basically, right? But he's like an awkward, such an awkward bastard, right? And it's like if you're walking around and you're like as hench as John Cena and just like just like the best marksman in the world and stuff like that as well, you would be the most arrogant, most like but he's just like awkward because he's just like,
the problem is because he's got that dad, he's got, what's it called, the white dragon or whatever. He just can't live up to them standards, and that's just made him the most insecure human being there is. Love it. We got confirmation as well that they did reshoot all of the vigilante stuff after 5 episodes I think they said they shot with him, and they just went back and redid it.
So that guy who is, because obviously he takes his helmet off now, right? So the guy who took his helmet off is the new guy. Yeah. Okay, right. Because we're confused about that last time. I was confused about it, but it's crazy. I got to read a bit more about what happened to that other guy, because it sounded like
he was just being a bit of a dick, or just didn't get on with Gunn and what direction that character was going, and maybe he kind of agreed with the stuff with the dad and he just didn't like being on the other side of that. Maybe. I'm not saying that. No front any accusations. But why else? This guy has no career when you look him up. I think the biggest thing he'd done before this was like a Young Hercules TV show back in the day.
Young Hercules. Yeah. Okay. Is he Kevin Sorbo's mate? Because Kevin Sorbo is kind of on that borderline, right? You know what I mean? So it's quite jokes, man. I think like do you see that the guy who plays Judo Master? Yeah. People been going crazy because they're like, oh yeah, man, there's so much Asian hate on TV. They basically shrunk this guy and made him look really small, and this is those like typical, like stereotypical, Asians on TV or whatever. And then the actual guy who played Judo Master replied to that tweet is like, chill, man, I'm actually this big. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
It's like, it's
Guy's
so
like
funny, man.
4'9" or he's tiny. He's like a child, but he does
He's
kick ass
proper-
though. So it's like, and somehow he always seems to get hold of a bag of chips.
Yeah.
Even after he
Yeah, it's
escaped
that-
in this one, he had a bag of chips in his hand. What the hell?
Yeah, it's some kind of, I don't know what that Cheetos joke is there, basically. But yeah, they seem to be going into this kind of white supremacist mode, and like the fact that Peacemaker is only a bad guy because in effect he kind of got forced into killing somebody by his father, and obviously some weird shit going on with him and his brother there as well. And yeah, we get kind of revealed. There was a reveal of the white dragon suit kind of at the end, right? And I'm kind of thinking we're gonna get an old ass Robert Patrick in that suit at some point. Nah, man, I don't know. But I can kind of see the way that they're doing the story, that basically, the old man who comes and heckles him like on every episode, right? And he keeps saying to him like, you're not a superhero. And then the next time he tells him like, Batman's got supervillains, he's got Mad Hatter, he's got Riddler, blah blah. Who have you got? And I think kind of the thing is that Peacemaker's gonna have a supervillain that he ends up fighting, which is probably the White Dragon, right? And it's kind of like, okay, because he's fought the White Dragon and he's got a supervillain, now that makes him a superhero because he's got a supervillain that he kind of fights against.
Did you think they were going to go as deep into the backstory of Peacemaker, as deep as they have done in terms of really making you empathize with him as a character, after seeing what we did of him in Suicide Squad?
No, I kind of thought because the thing is he actually seems really cut up by what he did to Rick Flag, right? He actually seems cut up by it, whereas in the Suicide Squad it was kind of like, I'm doing it because I'm following orders and blah blah blah. And I think kind of what's happening is, I don't know whether it was after what happened in the hospital or whatever, that he's kind of come out of it a bit and he's kind of realizing actually what I'm doing is not good. And I'm not a hero and stuff like that, man. I heard these weird rumors online that the final battle is not even going to have Peacemaker in it. Is basically they're gonna put old ass Robert Patrick in the White Dragon suit, and Eagly is gonna fight.
That'd be amazing. I'm there.
And Eagly's gonna fight him to the death, basically. Right? be the biggest classic, man. You gotta love Eagly. Do you know what the thing is? Did you ever seen this film called War Horse? Right.
Time barely remember it, but yeah, the Spielberg one.
Yeah, so after I watched War Horse, I was like, I want a horse, man. I really want a horse to like go and like chill with and like just ride around the countryside and shit like that. And it's like after this, I'm like, shit, man, I want an eagle.
No, if it could be possible to train an eagle to act like a dog like Eagly does, then boom, I want one.
It would be so cool to have an Eagly, man. It would be the coolest thing ever. But
how much better is Cena now? He seems like he really kind of settled into the character, and he's just so much better. It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird because he kind of seems like, you know what? He seems like it was a try hard kind of like, oh, I'm this hard guy, Peacemaker in Suicide Squad. And it's like, I'm better than everybody else. And look how good I am. And in this, it's kind of like, he's kind of doubting himself, but he's also at the same time, like, he gets pissed off by everybody just saying like how crappy he is at everything. You know what I mean? He just like, it's hilarious, man. Like, like even in the first bit, he kind of like, he leaves that information on the bed, and that's why that crazy woman like attacks him basically, right? And it's like, what, you left like literally like sensitive information that's out for everybody to see. Like, such a dumbass, man. Such a dumbass.
That whole sequence, man, was hilarious. Just not only just hooking up with her, but then also trying to escape out of there. It's just,
I know, it's just crazy. And just the body just exploded all over the place.
What do you think about friggin' James Gunn basically doing the Secret Invasion storyline?
Oh yeah.
Before Marvel could do it.
So this is the thing, like, this reminds me of like what they were saying in Suicide Squad, whereas like sometimes the job is not the job. right? So when they go, that's what Rick Flag was saying, right? So basically, like when they went in, the job was to go and kill Starro, right? But actually, in reality, it was to cover up the American government's involvement in the Starro project. And this kind of thing, I'm thinking, okay, their mission is to kill the butterflies, which are all over the place, like literally like around the entire world. But actually, I think there's something else going on, and that's he's kind of trapped one in a in a canister or jar or something like that, and something's going to come of it that actually I don't think the butterflies are bad. There's something else that is going on there, like like some government has been involved with trying to create the butterflies or something like that, because this dude is going.
But he found a ship though, so they have to be aliens, because he did find that ship that folded up.
Yeah.
When he had to threesome with that guy's wife.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that was just wrong, mate. That was just wrong. That was so wrong, man. That poor guy. Yeah, basically, if he did bound into his house, that guy would have had an okay life, man. But yeah, I mean, it was just like the whole thing is just absolutely nuts. Like so there's something that is going on with those butterflies, and American government must be involved. I think it's kind of interesting, like that woman, one of the women is Amanda Waller's daughter, basically. I don't know if they said that at the start, but I kind of noticed it in the 4th episode. Like,
because she had the scene with Amanda Waller on the phone, they're FaceTiming, and she said, "Oh, goodbye, mum," or something. "Good night, mum," at the end of it. So that's how you knew. And but no one else seems to know, because they keep badmouthing Waller in front of her, and she just sits there like,
Yeah, exactly. Like cussing my mum, basically. Like, you know what I mean? Because Waller, whatever you say about her, is a badass woman. Man. Like, you don't want to mess with Amanda Waller. So yeah, there's something interesting, some kind of thing that is going on there, basically. And I think we're going to end up getting revealed some villain that is in the depths of no. I mean, because these guys are talking about, oh yeah, what's it called? Peacemaker's like, oh yeah, there's a dude and he can basically eat anything, right? And it's like you guys are talking about like superheroes who bloody disappeared in like the Silver Age, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's Matter Eating Lad or something like that. Basically, like, they're talking about. And it's like, mate, literally, you guys are going deep into DC kind of missions, man. So they're gonna find some weird ass character that is that maybe has something to do with the butterflies. So yeah, this is my most kind of favorite series that I'm watching at the moment. It's I'm liking it a lot, man. So yeah, it's great fun, man. But the problem is, like, so I was watching this at lunchtime at work, yeah. So I didn't have my headphones. I was just like playing it, and then flipping banging scene comes on. So then I've got the door closed, and there's all this flipping door. I'm just like, oh my god, man, what the hell?
Always in their phones.
Thinking, what the hell is this? Is this bloody Doctor Who's bloody listening to me or watching? You know what I mean? So yeah, at that point, it's like, do you come out and say, no, it's not what you think? Do you just carry on? Just carry on?
Just walk out, do up your flags.
Oh
ready.
My days!
Who's next?
What, in front of the patients?
Exactly. You say, no, you're relaxed and you've unwind.
Oh, okay, fair enough, man. So far, man, Peacemaker, yeah, definitely something to keep watching, man. Something, however, that seems to, I don't know really what to say about it at the moment, is Boba Fett, right? Because Boba Fett, right? This week's is better than last week's, okay? I'll give it that.
Yeah, I didn't like last week's.
However, I kind of was watching this, and it was weird because I was at this, while I was watching it, for some reason, I thought kind of halfway through, I want to go and play some Knights of the Old Republic online. So I started playing Knights of the Old Republic online, and I was kind of watching Boba Fett, and then I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm a little bit bored by this, and then just started playing more. My concentration was more on Knights of the Old Republic than it was on Boba Fett. And all I was doing on Knights of the Old Republic was just doing my character up. Literally just like changing the costume and like, getting finding a new like kyber crystal and stuff like that. That was it. I wasn't actually doing anything. But I kind of found that more interesting than Boba Fett, which is not a great sign, basically.
It's just it doesn't feel like the Boba Fett I grew up loving. The character, it's just so, and I get what they've done. They've evolved him. He's had these experiences that's settled him down. But I just want something of the arsehole Boba Fett. It's just ruthless, doing what he's got to do. Basically, like a vigilante type personality, but not as dumb. Just doing his thing. But it has its moments. But yeah, these last two, I didn't mind a lot of the stuff with what's her name? I always forget her character's name.
Fennec. Yeah. Fennec.
I didn't mind some of that.
Strand.
Even though she took having her guts replaced by animatronics very well. She didn't really scream or nothing. It was like, okay.
So that whole scene, okay, that kind of is that is like, Star Warsy, getting Cybertronic kind of parts and stuff like that.
But the way they're doing it in this show, it seems very cyberpunkish. And I'm talking about the game Cyberpunk. That's the negative thing, because the biker gangs, this whole sequence where he's there with the Dread guy doing all the cybernetic replacements, it just doesn't seem, I don't know, for me, it just seems more on that side of things, more on the Blade Runner side of things than the Star Wars side of things.
Yeah. It reminded me of that scene in Minority Report when he basically goes to go and get all that stuff removed and, like
the new eyes and all that.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, okay, it wasn't, they tried to make it stylish and stuff like that, but it was just weird, man. Like when they were showing like close-ups of the guy, like, oh, I've got the, I've got the sword. It's like, what was that? It's
no
just
blood.
Stupid, man.
The rave music.
Yeah. Did when you watched Spider-Man, was there a trailer for Boba Fett before it?
Don't remember seeing Boba Fett
because when we watched Spider-Man Far From Home, there was a trailer for Boba Fett, right? And the music that they used and the atmosphere that they created, the way that it was cut, was very, very different than the series. It was cut in a way that made it look much more cinematic, and the music made it kind of look like much more kind of like I don't know, much more depth to it, if you know what I mean. Much more kind of like there's some intriguing, deep kind of story that is going on here. It was
orchestrated, more orchestra, and I get what you're saying.
It was just way kind of better. And the thing is, every time they never should have said this is like Godfather, because this annoys me. Because every time I'm thinking back and thinking, okay, well, when they used to cut back to to Vito Corleone, and he had a tiny little crew to start off with, and then they basically went and they did this one mission, and they went and killed this one person, and he went and killed this other Don, basically, while there was this while this whole parade and everything was going on outside.
Kind of doing that. You see, he is building up his little tribe. He says everyone needs a tribe, and he's kind of adding people here and there. He's got that new Wookiee that he's added, and he keeps bringing these little people in, and so he seems to be kind of doing that. But,
I mean that Wookiee bloody just ripped that dude's arm.
That was like, I did like that.
And just the look he gave him afterwards is hilarious. Like literally, like I ripped your arm off, and then that's kind of it, man. It's like it also makes it kind of vexed, because every time I see Jennifer Beals in this thing, I'm like, oh my god, man, you could have been in Swamp Thing season 2 or something season 2, which never unfortunately happened. But I don't know. This to me kind of felt like, okay, it's better, but it's kind of like seems like more of a filler episode, where it's like, okay, this is how you met Fennec, and this is kind of how it's how Fennec became like your friend and all this kind of stuff. But it was I don't know, I'm not sold 100% on this show yet. And I don't like shows that basically require you to watch the entire thing before you say, oh yeah, this was a good show. And this kind of makes me feel like, okay, this is one of those things where you literally go watch the entire thing, and then right at the end it's going to be like, oh yeah, this is all the stuff that ties everything up, and then people are going to rave about this show at the end. That's what I reckon.
Oh, this is I get what you're saying, because I've been watching I finally caved in and started watching Killing Eve. I'm just tired of hearing people talk about it. I'm like,
on BBC,
yeah,
the BBC one.
But 6 episodes in, and I'm loving this show. I don't need to finish it to know that this is a great show. So good. So good.
Sometimes you watch shows and it's like, okay, this episode's great. I'm looking forward to the next one, whatever. With this, it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to keep watching it because I know something crazy is going to happen at the end.
It started, then went really good. Then it kind of seemed to go down. And then,
They should never have killed the Sand People, man. That basically, like,
not off camera.
It makes no sense because it's like, all the people all the previous backstories are like, okay, I basically went here and I recruited Fennec Shand, and I went here and I recruited the weird ass biker gang, and the guy who tried to kill me, the flipping Wookiee, now he's in my gang, and the Gamorreans, who basically were with whatever, they're in my gang. But the crew of Sand People that I was with throughout that entire time are not in my gang because somebody just murdered them, basically, right? It's like, it's more of a threat, kind of thinking, okay, these guys are going to come back and, finish off Boba Fett at some point, rather than being like, oh, okay, they just killed off the Tuscans or whatever. So it's just, I don't know, man, just, I'll watch it, but I don't know. It's not like
it's just too many contemporary things that added into it. Like even with the biker gangs, like they've got like the little denim jackets, like how biker gangs have them. It's just the actual one that have the long ones that he killed off at the end. It's like,
those guys.
It's too real worldy for me. I don't know. Nitpick, but
well, that's the thing. Like, you kind of think like, okay, what are people going to be like living on a desert planet with basically F all on it, unless you go off world and get something and come back? That's what you got to think of what it's kind of like. They're going to have a denim factory. Bloody hell, no, they're not. Right? They're bloody not. Right? So it's kind of just like, they should. One of the great things about all the Star Wars films and stuff is that a lot of them were filmed on location, so they kind of knew, like, okay, this is how like Bedouin tribes in the desert in Tunisia are going to be dressed like, right? So let's have a take on that. But with this, it's kind of like, oh yeah, with that, if somebody's got like a really nice kind of scooter or whatever in the middle of nowhere, then it's kind of like, why do I need somebody else to help me when I can get this, when I can get these kind of things there by myself? You know what I mean?
Or at least they've ruined the possible showdown between the two different biker gangs just by killing off these ones. Because he's got those young ones with their chromed out, brand new factory, new bikes. Then these other ones with the land speed racer things. That would have been interesting. That kind of would have been kind of interesting to see the two of them have some crazy sequence where they're like racing against each other and shooting at each other. Nope, they're shooting from the ship. Done.
Yeah, I think somebody's forgotten about a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That's basically what this is. It's meant to be ancient, like, and completely kind of off world kind of thing. So sometimes I kind of think the people who make like KOTOR and stuff, why don't they just say, like, you got any ideas of what we can do, and nah. Just forget it, like, just so we'll give you guys a review of Boba Fett next on in the episode 5 next week. We'll see what it's like and stuff, basically.
But let's go to DC's TV offerings. Another DC TV offering now.
Yes, Superman and Lois.
Yeah.
Right. So Superman. Did you manage to see it now?
I did.
Yeah?
I did both.
Okay. Both episodes. Yeah. So what did you think of both the episodes?
They haven't cut down the budget from the first episode. I'm thinking, okay, they keep still going with this. And then I remember you saying that there was some big reveal at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not. Maybe it's just a deep cut. At first, I was thinking, what is this a Doomsday reference? Because he kind of punched his way out of the ground when he first appeared. But I'm thinking, it can't be.
It's a Doomsday reference. It's a Doomsday. I think it definitely is. Yeah,
with all the lights on him and stuff.
Doomsday. It's 100% Doomsday, man.
Well, that does make sense then. Why they introduced those other government supermen? Because then they're the cannon fodder for the Doomsday to kill in order for Superman to be the one to save there at the end, for the general to be like, please, I'm sorry, help us.
Yeah, because this is the thing. Everybody was worried, like, DC fans just kind of like, just getting worried about it all over the forums and stuff when it's like, oh, okay, they're doing Doomsday. Are they going to kill off Superman? But it's like they've already got these like, superhero characters that they're probably just going to get destroyed by Doomsday, man. So basically there's something behind that there as well, because there's the corporation that is running the mine. And the lady who's kind of running it is like, it seems like, the tests are going there. So it looks like the actual the company that they had there that was basically, created Doomsday could actually be in this universe there as well.
Do you think this could be a hero moment for the brother? That this could kill him, but he could die saving Kal-El?
Possibly. Oh, Zod, you mean? Zod dying.
Yeah.
Possibly could be, man, because that guy's got some mummy issues, and basically like
they're trying to set up the whole thing of trying to appeal, I don't have faith in you, but I want to, like, feeling like, is there good in him? I feel like there's still good in him. I don't know, but
there's something there's something there. And that's the thing, is like, obviously the question, the thing is like, when with Doomsday being created there as well, like, what Doomsday is it? Because obviously, like, the original one was created to go, by the Kryptonians to go on, fight on different worlds and stuff. But then, the question is this the one that was created, on Earth, kind of thing, by the by the scientists, because that's what it looks like. And I think probably the next one that we're going to end up seeing is like the green suit, basically like him in the green suit with just like one hand coming out and the other one tied up, and that would be crazy. I'd love to see him just beat the shit out of those superhero goons with one hand, just like absolutely batter them with like one hand. It would just be absolutely nuts, man. Because this is the thing. This is the third time that that I would have seen Doomsday on TV. Right. The first. Oh my god. When I was a kid, like, my mate who you've met there as well, he is a massive Superman fan. Obviously, I'm a massive Batman fan. So when Smallville came, he's like, bro, they're gonna do Doomsday tonight. Yeah, they're gonna do Doomsday. You gotta watch it. I'm like, safe, man. Let's go and watch it. So I basically, like, it was on Channel 4, I think, at the time, right? So we basically like put it on, and I was like, what in the shit is this Doomsday? It was like some dude in a rubber suit, and he literally was like, he's like 6 foot tall. That was basically it, just like a rubber suit in Doomsday. It was awful.
And they did it like a werewolf, because he was just like transforming, and changing.
And then obviously then we get cave trollish Doomsday, Zod, whatever, in the BVS. in BVS, and now this is the third time lucky to kind of do it, right? And I'm kind of thinking, okay, you've got the chance, you've got potentially, like, because people have done like zoom up pictures and stuff like that, and you can see green there, like, around the fist, where it's like, so are they going to do the dark green suit? Are they going to have, like, Doomsday in it and stuff like that, with the red goggles and stuff, which would be crazy, and then the little lights and things on it. That would just be mad. I remember I was watching it and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna do Doomsday like this, just watching the end, like, bloody hell. And then I just I texted my mate and I was like, yeah, let me send you this Superman and Lois episode, so you can have a look. And he watched it. It's like, bloody hell, man, they're gonna do Doomsday. Second episode is like,
gotta say though, the one complaint I do have this time around with Superman versus Lois, I mean Superman versus and Lois.
That's probably what it is, actually, a lot of the time. Superman versus
was it, in the first season, I think what worried me about going into the first season, when they heard that they were going to be like teenage kids, and I was like, oh, they're going to turn this into some melodrama, CW style stuff. But they kind of avoided it. I think they balanced it right. But with this one, I think they slowly started to tip over that line a bit, like with Steele's daughter.
Yeah.
She came from a planet that was decimated by evil Kryptonians and an evil Superman. And now she's found a way to this Earth. She's reunited with her dad, with an Earth that's at peace relatively. And she still has something to bitch about. Like she's still whining, like just screaming, like saying, "I wish I died. I should have just stayed and died." It's stuff like this that makes me grateful. I don't want to have kids. Like there are times where I feel like, I'm getting on a bit. I should start my legacy and sire some children. But then I see stuff like this, I'm like, no, I'm happy. I don't have to deal with this shit. Like,
yeah, exactly. She should just literally get slapped rather than
how do parents not do it? Like, guys watching, if you have teenage kids, how do you not grab like a cartoon, grab them by the scruff of the neck, the back of their trousers, and just throw them out the closest window when they act like this? Like, how?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's like basically like somebody from a kid from Afghanistan or something, or Syria, and they're coming over and moaning about the chips being too cold over here or something.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like they're gonna do that. They're gonna be like, bloody hell, there's no bombs coming from the sky.
I walked home from school and no one shot at me. Like, why did no one shoot at me? That's the sort of argument she had. It was like, I could not deal with that.
Yeah. It's just mad. She's obviously got some kind of thingy, and it's kind of like when they're just like, oh, you got to go to school now. It's like, bro, you just let her acclimatize to this world a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, she's obviously like learned a lot of stuff there.
Stuff that she was whining about though, like her friends that she knew back in her world just walked past her like she didn't exist, and that's the thing for her to just scream and cry about that.
Yeah. It reminds me of Masters of the Universe, where it's like, Prince Adam has just died, and then Tina's going like, "You didn't tell me. You told us a lie." It's like, what's the matter with you? Their kids just died. You know what I mean? Like, you need a slap, man. So yeah, they did have that, and obviously Jordan and his girlfriend, and the other kid, I can't remember what his name is, the other brother, and he's got some stuff going on, and Lois catching them, and
just that. Well, that's to be expected. That's a regular level. And the other one, his girlfriend's playing for the other side, maybe. They're cranking up the melodrama up a bit, but as long as the other stuff's still relatively balanced, and I guess I can put up with it, but they got to tone down that daughter, man. She was really annoying.
Yeah. So I didn't say this last time because obviously you hadn't seen it. I didn't want to spoil it. Do you think North Korea knows who Superman is?
Maybe the military, but you're right. Most people wouldn't have a clue. I know that they do kind of. There is a big thing of smuggling in like USB sticks of TV shows and films over there, even though it's punishable by like hard labor or death in some cases. But it's a bit of a stretch that they would all be like immediately with, Superman.
And this is the thing, like, so I've got a mate. He's an aerospace engineer, right? And he basically like. I think I told you this before. We went and saw Interstellar, and then he came out of it and he's like, that film was shit, man. I was like, what? I loved it, man. It's amazing. He goes, this couldn't happen, that couldn't happen, this thing, they would have got crushed, the time thing was wrong, because obviously he knows about it, right? So
I see Neil deGrasse Tyson does this. Whenever a space film comes out, Neil deGrasse Tyson has to make a video and be like, oh, they should have done this, sucks, terrible. You think, come on, man.
So basically he done all of that, and he just vexed by it, and the thing is, I had his voice like in my head when I was watching this thing about the submarine. If the submarine is at the bottom of the ocean with the pressure, and he just pushes it up,
their heads will explode.
Literally, they all would have died, literally, within seconds. You know what I mean? So that was kind of interesting. I think some of the dialogue is quite good and quite punchy. Like, when he's like, this symbol is not yours to give, and stuff like that. It's like, okay, this is good stuff or whatever, and like I can't give the US my allegiance because I gave it to the world a long time ago. You know what I mean? So things like that is I think is quite cool. But yeah, definitely a melodrama coming in there. But then they got to go for their CW audience, right?
Yeah, that's the issue. The audience, which is minuscule, so I don't know why they're still pandering to it. Because it's tiny, isn't it? It's like barely 500,000 half the time.
Yeah.
But
so
I'm not sure about the suit though. I gotta admit, not sure about that suit because it did look there were some shots where it looked okay, but there are other shots where it looked like it was the S was printed on, and it did look like it just didn't. It was a muscle suit underneath, and it just didn't fit.
Yeah.
It was all like wrinkly, and it was like, oh, what's going on there?
Yeah, it definitely looks like he is wearing a muscle suit underneath, basically to make it, to pump it out and stuff like that.
It's not tight enough to it.
No, it needs to be tighter. So it's but I'm kind of thinking they'll probably struggle to get it on and off, which is probably the reason why there's so many problems, man. So the CW cracked me up. Teen Wolf is finished now, right? And basically Jeff Johns kind of revealed Teen Wolf, the producer of Teen Wolf basically came to Jeff Johns, who produces the Superman and Lois one, and was like, there's a way we can save Teen Wolf. Can we try and save Teen Wolf? And then they're like, okay, how? They're like, let's bring it into the DC universe. Let's bring Teen Wolf. so Teen Wolf, right? They basically, the producers actually pitched bringing that into the DC universe to try and save that show, man, which is hilarious, mate. Just funny.
Is that recently that happened?
That's recently, yeah, very recently.
So how would that work with Superman? And because he was also the actor was.
Yeah, exactly. He was like he was moonlighting as a werewolf. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's a weird little kind of DC aside, man. But to be honest, I don't know, anything can come in the DC, so you never know, man. Did you see? Do I even need to ask this question? Did you see the Moon Knight trailer?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Do I even need to ask it? So this is interesting because at some points I was like, this is a little bit weird, man. They're kind of like going really into like the psychological kind of thing of this, aren't they? Like,
I was never a massive Moon Knight guy. Just occasionally he'd pop up in stuff I'd read, but I never really went out my way to read that particular comic book. But what I vaguely know about is that he does have these multiple personalities, Moon Knight being one of them. So it looks like they're really focusing on that, which they should, because it makes it more interesting. Because mental health, the character is an interesting hero, someone who has all these voices of different personalities they're battling against.
Yeah. So that's another thing. So there are three things that are releasing on February the 4th, right? Batman, Moon Knight, and Moonfall as well at the same time. Better watch the right Moon program.
It looks good. I like it. Like, he did the accent did pop out. I know that's something that some people bitching about. It's got like a Dick Van Dyke. What, Mary Poppins? How you doing? Sort of.
Is he meant to be a Cockney? Is he meant to be a Cockney?
He's meant to be starting from. He's kind of he's over the egg in it, but he's supposed to be British. But I think he leans a bit too much on the East London thing. But it's interesting.
I think sometimes like it depends who's coaching them there as well.
Yeah.
Like there's this one dude, he's quite a famous actor in the UK, does loads of these like police dramas and stuff like that. Went and did The Walking Dead in America and basically put on a southern like a southern American accent, like it's from the deep south and stuff. And it just sounds so fake. Like literally, like to me, it sounds fake.
Yeah. One wicked thing. Just a shout out Jamie Coleman, man. After watching Killing Eve, she's like a Russian spy, but she's like the ultimate assassin, Russian assassin, where no matter what country she's in, France, she's in Italy, she's in the UK, she'll just switch up. And in real life, she has this really thick Liverpudlian accent, like proper Scouser. Oh, I can't even put one on. But when she can switches it,
So who's
perfect.
that? Jodie Comer.
Yeah.
Jodie Comer.
Jodie,
Yeah.
Jodie, yeah.
Jodie Comer, yeah.
Kid.
Yeah.
In Russian, it sounds
she can do all of that stuff.
She speaks it, she speaks French, and it's all perfect with the accent. It's like, wow, yeah. Skills.
These kids are all, I say kids because they're fully grown adults now, but anyway, they're all like products of like these what's it called, these schools, aren't they, like these talent schools and stuff like that, aren't they?
Apparently she never
oh
went.
she never went.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just
knows it, just has the skills. That's good, man. That's good to have that ability, you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to Moonlight there as well, because I like that kind of psychological, like, you know, just kind of stuff, because you can go so many ways with that. You know, like in the Arkham games, like sometimes some of my favorite bits was where it's like Scarecrow just like tricking you and you're just going through this weird stuff in your mind and kind of like that. And I remember
that. There's that one bit where you're driving the Batmobile and everything's like on fire and red around you because you're tripping and you can see like the giant Scarecrow like in the distance. Yeah, that's just cool.
Yeah, and it's like, and then they make you go through this thing where you got to basically like it's just all clouds around you, and then you got to jump through these kind of this like old castle kind of thing, and it's like he's literally just like messing with your mind. And I kind of like that idea, man, because I like the costume as well, man. I think the costume looks pretty good as well. It's kind of one of those things that where is Moon Knight actually based? Is he based in London, or is he based in?
Looks like this one they're basing it in the UK, in London, because he works at the British Museum, and he's just jumping around London doing shit. So that's interesting. That's a little different twist.
Yeah,
maybe that'll be the backdoor way they bring in people like Captain Britain, which I've always hated the name Captain Britain. I hope they change it somehow, but people bitch and moan about it. But I've never liked the sound of Captain Britain.
Yeah, I said that to my friend, like, you know, Captain Britain, and he's like, it sounds like some what's it called, guy from UKIP or something like that. Like, like you know, their mascot or something like that. But yeah, I think that's a way to bring in the Black Knight. I think that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to bring the Black Knight in there that way, and maybe Blade starts off in London or something and then goes off to other places.
Yeah. I've never read Blade in the comic books, but someone said that he's supposed to be like British. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Supposed to be the Marvel guy. Supposed to be the Marvel guy. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy if it's true. But I think kind of sometimes you got to avoid certain things because all this stuff occurs in New York, right? But it's like if you're in New York, you're going to encounter Daredevil and Spider-Man and all that. And it's like if you're out of and Doctor Strange, I guess there as well. But then if you're out of New York, then you can kind of do whatever your stories are. You know, you could kind of encounter whatever. And I guess that's kind of they can go and start other things in different places.
Completely wrong. Basically, it bounces around from
different places
to New Orleans to Los Angeles. Talking at my ass.
How many times are they going to be talking about how Tower Bridge got destroyed by Spider-Man, like, and nobody gave a shit? Like literally, like one of the biggest landmarks in London, where like the crown jewels are and stuff, just gets destroyed. But just hilarious.
Actually, I'm not wrong. Eric Brooks, aka Blade, is British. The comic Eric Brooks was born in Soho, London. Black mom named Tara Brooks and a Latvian dad named Lucas Cross. Yeah, see, I knew I was right. See, so they just decided to screw that when they made the film because what's his face didn't want to put on the British accent. Yeah, but
Mahershala, what's his name? Mahershala Ali. He didn't put on a British accent, did he? He kind of, I don't know. It's difficult to tell.
It depends if that voiceover was supposed to be played, but I don't know. But it's not sounding like, if it is, it's not sounding like he's gonna go that right either. So,
yeah,
you was right.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm so proud. I don't know why.
The guy what's it called? Rob, I can't remember his name is Rob Stark, the actual actor.
Yeah.
He was saying like, working with Kit Harington was again in Eternals is the worst thing ever. Like he was like, is the most horrendous thing ever to work with him. I don't know, like it's so funny, like on sets. I don't know how many years he must have like worked
they
with
were
him,
young
but they
when they
obviously
started.
don't like each other, I guess.
No, it must have they got to be joking around. It can't be that serious.
Yeah, well, that's what it seems like in the article. You know what I mean? It's just like, just yeah. Unless this is the problem when something gets printed. It's like you can say, oh, it was horrendous working with them, but it's like actually you're taking the piss basically about how it wasn't actually that bad.
Yeah, context gets
but context, yeah. So Moon Knight definitely something to watch, man. One thing we forgot, because I went straight into Moon Knight rather than doing that, was the Batgirl photos, right? So, Batgirl has more leaks than bloody Thames Water right now, because because it's actually in Glasgow, right? And basically, like they're doing it in like this area where there's all flats around, so everybody around there is taking. Do you know this area? Like my friend actually lives in this area. It's called Pollock Shields, right? And basically, they're all student accommodation.
Oh, good.
So they're all students. So obviously they're all going to be taking bloody photos of this Batgirl set because they haven't covered it or anything like that. So we got to see a photo of the suit kind of before, and now we've seen some further photos there as well of certain things. So the first photo that I kind of saw, which was the suit, it was kind of like, oh, you're going real CW with this, right?
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, we did speak on that, but yeah, that one where she's all bruised and battered up, it just looks like a shot from set shot from something they're shooting for CW, like another Legends of Tomorrow.
The only thing that gives me a little bit more hope about it is that she is actually battered and bruised, and it's not because I like to see women beaten up or anything like that. I know somebody's gonna say, "Oh, you like to see." No, what I'm saying is that basically, whenever they have these heroes, they're always ridiculously like OP, like like in Charlie's Angels and stuff. They're like beating the shit out of like literally like there's a film. Yeah, there's a film that has just come out called The 355, right? Okay. and basically like so I managed to watch this on not in the cinema, but yeah, in a different way. But anyway, I managed to watch this, right? And this is so ridiculous. It's basically got like 110-pound women basically getting 6 foot built like brick shit house blokes and just picking them up and throwing them, like literally like there's the Chinese actress, what's her name, Bing
Fan.
Yeah, and she's basically like doing hurricane ranas on people and stuff like that, and it's like, mate, come on, you're not gonna, unless the dude actually wants to be flung like that, you try and do a hurricane run on somebody, it's not gonna end very well, man.
Are these like regular guys off the street, or are these like military trained?
No, these are trained
mercenaries.
Yeah, they are international Russian spies, most of them, like ex-Spetsnaz and stuff like that. All right. So the thing is this. So in that entire thing, like none of them get any bruises or bleeding or anything like that. Whereas if you watch something like Rambo, the dude gets battered, like literally, like, got blood everywhere and stuff like that.
Even Atomic Blonde, got to give that a shout because she gets her ass kicked in that.
Yes. So that is in the modern ones, that is probably the most realistic one that I've kind of seen. There was another one that was kind of the opposite of that. What's it called? Anna or something? Anna, something like that.
I think it was just Anna. Yeah, the Russian chick. Yeah.
Yeah, or it was kind of like the opposite, whereas just so. I think Charlize Theron kind of acted her socks off to try and sell that whole thing. But basically, like with this, I'm kind of thinking, okay, the look on the face is kind of like, okay, oh shit, I've bitten off a bit more than I can chew here. And she doesn't have like special powers like Black Canary. Like Black Canary, if somebody gets too close, you can do the shout, people just go flying, you know, whatever. You know, it's a fail safe.
I cannot see Batgirl being good, but I hope that one step towards it being good is they take the Kick-Ass approach. You know, remember Kick-Ass where he tries to be the superhero vigilante and just gets whooped and ends up in a coma and then wakes up and then goes on heals and then just tries to do it all over again. Just keep on trial and error. That's what I loved about the Kick-Ass. It did not work for a long time. He just finally, it's because he got so many beatings that he no longer could feel pain, which led to him being a better superhero because the nerves were damaged.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna get that far into it, but kind of I would expect basically she's gonna get battered like multiple times, but gonna show some degree of talent. At which point Batman's going to notice, Michael Keaton Batman is going to notice, and then it's going to be like, I mean, Alfred in this is probably going to be about 100 years old, right? Like, because if Keaton's 70, then Alfred must be like literally 100 years old. So yeah, they're going to notice and then kind of be like, okay, come into the fold, and we're mentoring this other person, Black Canary, and blah blah blah. But yeah, I think this is coming out this year as well. So yeah, it's an interesting one, man. So we'll see obviously how it goes. So we've the last bit of news that we have is two actors who are kind of like I mean, they are famous, but they're kind of like they're more like cult favorite kind of actors. One in Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Jensen Ackles, and both of them have kind of said that they're in certain shows, right? So basically, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, it's been shown that now she's in Ahsoka. She's going to be in Ahsoka, basically. And the way that this article was there was, what's it called? Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan's partner.
Yeah, because they're dating, isn't it? Or something.
Yeah. And I was like, what? Okay, fair enough. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is going to be in joining the Star Wars universe in being in Ahsoka, basically.
I was hoping that you were going to say that it was a Huntress instead of giving a Batgirl show or Batwoman, whatever they're doing, Batgirl. What can they just done Huntress? She was a way more interesting character. She was the best part of Harley Quinn and plus the fuck film that was.
But then the thing is, the Huntress film that they should have done is the one, the Huntress that kind of turns up in like Constantine and Justice League Dark and stuff like that. And the Huntress in that is basically, she works for the Vatican. Right.
Like
so the Vatican basically will be like, so in one of the stories in the Rebirth ones, you basically got like there's this woman who basically becomes a vessel for demons, basically, right? And they know that she's a vessel for demons. So basically what they do is they say to the Huntress, you need to go and find Constantine, because Constantine knows where this woman is, and then he will lead you to her, and you are to kill her, basically, right? And I would watch the shit out of those films if there was, this
is the next aspect of superhero films that I think needs to be like the next wave, is the occult side of it, because we already know how massive horror films are. Like, that's the one lower budget those category of movies which can still make crazy money in the cinemas. Because, look at the Blumhouse films, the Conjuring and those spin-offs, even Maleficent. Not Maleficent.
Yeah, Maleficent, yeah.
Yeah, Maleficent, those, even though it was ridiculous as that film was, it still made some money. But put a superhero bent on that, usually doing it through like Constantine. You could do so many ways you could go, and it could be awesome. Like, I love that idea. That sounds so freaking cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just literally, like, she is their vessel, just going and killing all these kind of things and stuff, and then getting on the wrong side of Constantine and things like that. And I just love to watch like Constantine and Swamp Thing team up and stuff. I read this comic book the other week that I've never read before, and I'm fascinated by this thing, right? And I'm kind of just like, man, I need to get the entire series now. It's called Animal Man, right? I don't know if you ever seen it.
Yes, I know so much about this character. Yeah, I think I even read a couple.
Why don't, if they want to do fringe characters, forget about Our Man and stuff, do things like this, right? So guys, if you don't know, I'll just do a quick aside. Basically, Animal Man is a guy who can tap into basically animal spirits, and he can take on the power of any animal. So he can like tap into a hawk and then fly somewhere, tap into
Is this the one that had the Scottish guy writing it?
Garth Ennis.
Yeah.
No, this one, the one that I have is Jeff Lemire, who's the guy who wrote some Swamp Thing stuff, and who also wrote Gideon Falls. You know, that one that I was telling you about stuff.
So which
horror.
iteration of Animal Man is this then? From what era?
So this is New 52 Animal Man. So this is the one just before the rebirth. Yeah. But basically what it is that Animal Man can tap into this thing called the Red, which is basically like all life force. So life force of humans and animals are in the red. The life force of plants is in the green, right? Which is what Swamp Thing taps into. And then you've got the rot, which is basically like where all the death and the decay and everything goes in. And the rot is always trying to fight against the green and the red. So in this particular one, you basically got these creatures from the rot. They find their way into like the human kind of world and stuff like that. And Animal Man basically has passed on his genetics to his daughter, who has the same abilities as him.
This is like a family thing in that story. There's a lot of emphasis on his family life as well.
Yeah, so basically his daughter, who is like 5 years old, has the same abilities as him. So she can like, tap into being able to, fly and, talk to animals, and she can reanimate animals there as well. She's that powerful. She's actually an avatar of the Red, right? But then when the rot comes and it tries to kill her and it tries to take over, like the normal world, they know that they're not powerful enough to do it. So they're like, right, we need the green as well. So they team up with Swamp Thing, and he's like the avatar, the green, and it's just so badass. And I kind of think to myself, if you're going for fringe ass characters, go for people like this, man, because you can make it proper horror and stuff, and then just make up a whole world about it and stuff. But they just bloody don't want to, man.
It's weird because I know that the Constantine movie which came out, Keanu Reeves, isn't accurate to the comic book one, but I still love it, even though I know it's not accurate. I still really enjoyed it, and it did well. So it really baffles me why they never really went more full head on into that aspect of DC, any comic book properties.
And I still think they should go for another one with that there as well. And I still think that if he was willing to do it,
which apparently he's always said he was. Even the director said he'd love to do it, but they just need that Warner Brothers money behind it, innit?
Yeah, basically. Because the thing is, he would still bring in Keanu Reeves fans, like, people who are fans of Keanu Reeves to watch the thing, you know what I mean? So it would definitely be something to watch, man. Like, it was very atmospheric, and it was actually quite scary and stuff like that.
Love that cult side. And even on the Marvel side, they could have done that more with like Morbius does not look like it really gets into that, but who knows, we ain't seen it. But they could have even Venom should have been more horror, more the straight up horror movie than being what it ended up being.
Because it is like it is horrific. Basically, it is horrific what they're kind of doing. Stuff.
It's body horror. You got this man who's been taken over by this foreign entity. It basically drowns him and comes out. It could be so cool, but
They don't want to go down that route. So another fan favorite actor, Jensen Ackles, has also put on his Twitter that he's spoken to DC, and they're now going ahead with a secret DC project. So obviously a lot of people are talking about the thing is, like, DC fans crap me up, because it's like pretty much every DC fan is pretty much like MJ. It's kind of like, expect disappointment, you never get disappointed. So some people are writing stuff like, knowing DC, it's going to be the story of 13-year-old Damian Wayne, and he's going to be playing Damian. He's going to be playing Damian Wayne.
I like Jensen Ackles. I always liked him as an actor. He's charismatic. I'm surprised he never really did more films, but got tied up with the supernatural thing. But what could he do?
People wanted him to be Red Hood for a long time, right?
Okay,
But
yeah,
he's
yeah.
now 40 odd, and
Bit
it's
old.
like, okay, can he do Red Hood? However, given the fact that the Batman in that universe is 70, right? And, you know, you could have a 40-year-old Red Hood without any problem whatsoever.
Right, yeah.
You know, or Nightwing. But apparently Nightwing has already been, this is a rumor, so I don't really know, but apparently Nightwing has already gone to that guy from the Maze Runner. Because he's apparently going to be in the Batgirl movie as Nightwing, basically. So yeah, the question is what Jensen Ackles will do, because if that guy is going to be Nightwing, then Jensen Ackles is like 10 years too old to be Nightwing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So then to be Jason Todd. So then the question is, who would he be?
Maybe they go like the Peacemaker route and just find some obscure deep dive character that they can just bring out and resurrect and do something with.
Unless they decide to make him Constantine or something. Like
that was the initial thing that did flash my mind, but you know, are they going to be more accurate this time around? Is he going to put on can he do a Liverpool accent?
Yeah, exactly. The one thing about the Constantine comic books is there's so many like British jokes in there. It's like hilarious. There's like this one that I'm reading, the Rebirth one. They're like ripping Nigel Farage and stuff like that. It's quite hilarious. They've got a dude that literally looks like Farage in there, who's basically calling upon demons to like get Brexit done.
That's so great.
It's just brilliant, man. So yeah, I don't know. He would have to really be able to pull that off if he could do it. But I'm just looking at this kind of like kind of covers just all in front of me on this wall, and just thinking, who the hell could he play? I'm even thinking like something obscure like Firestorm or Animal Man. Yeah,
about Animal Man? Maybe you've called it and you don't realize that he's the right sort of age to be a father.
Do you know what? If it was, I would love it so much, man, because they could make, and supernatural horror kind of thing. They could really do something like that. That would be great, man. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see what comes out from then. You know, from DC in that time, man. Was there any other news? I can't remember.
No, I think that's pretty much it. We've been going for like over half an hour and a half. So
yeah. So that is it. So guys, if you have any comments, you can email us on dcvsmarvelpod@gmail.com. You can also go on the Facebook page DCVS Marvel Podcast and send us messages on there and stuff as well. I know I keep saying that, I never read them out. People are saying it, so I will make sure that I do it there next week anyway. So you know, even though some of them are just like you know, just little comments and stuff, I will try and read them out. So if you want to catch Ed's talking more about different types of TV and movie shows there as well,
regular movies, regular TV, not the cool stuff we talk about here, but you know, still stuff pretty interesting. You can check out Talking at the Movies and all podcasting platforms and on YouTube on Vulture Network, as well as this show. It's also on there. So yeah, go check it out.
Yeah, because I definitely checked out their review on Expanse, because apparently it's finished now. I haven't even got through my second series yet, so I don't know, man. If it's done, it's kind of disappointing that I'm gonna basically go and be watching to the end.
Yeah, they could have gone further because there's a lot more books, but I guess Amazon just kind of wanted to put all the money into Lord of the Rings, so there ain't anything left in the coffers. But they do tie it up for the most part. All the main story, all the very important ones, they tied up, and it was good. I loved it. Still up there, one of my favorite sci-fi shows.
Yeah, so guys, check out their review there as well. And until then, we'll see you again next time.
Yeah.